It took me a year to do it, but I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to do a quick little walk around of my Volvo 740. Now, I've always wanted one of these cars. I never thought I'd actually have one this soon. But come over to the engine bay. Obviously a standard 2.3 NA red block. Now, for people that, my friends, have asked me why they're called red blocks, it's because the block is painted red. The red blocks were rear wheel drive and the white blocks were front wheel drive. Also, there's this. If you're like me, you like to look at how a vehicle you can work on it. That's the bonnet open. If you do this, you now have a 90-degree bonnet. That I was very impressed with. Then I come across this little engine bay light. It's the little things that matter to me. Now, obviously, little things that I find quite cool are these little headlight washers, and they actually work. As you can tell, brand new blades, which I've got. Often got new blades for them. I'll try and do the inside because obviously it's starting to get a bit windy here. Well, dash wise, my little model 740. I had this handmade in Australia because of, obviously, with this dash, I didn't realise with the 740s, you don't normally see them where the dash is not cracked. So I had to get something made up to prevent that from cracking. The mileage, when I got this, it was 85,000, I think it was, off the top of my head. But I tell you what, very comfortable mileage. I'll jump in a sec before the wind starts picking up. Obviously, looked after. I don't know if it's been smoked in. Right, all the old boys, what they do is when they open the door, they use their foot to hold the door open. Now, obviously, my door card is missing. It's because Richard did break it, and he did tell me about that. But I took the door card off, to take the pocket off to make it look a bit neater, and it is actually quite neat. It's only them that make it look a bit suspicious. But that's what it should look like, that side. This is, I should have pointed out, jump at the back actually. The GLE, that's Grand Luxurious Executive, that's what that stands for. That's it from the back. Obviously, I'm a biker, so obviously have to think bike stickers. With a genuine Volvo tow bar. Jump around the front before the wind gets up, and over there it looks a bit black, so it might start raining. Which would be a shame, 'cause I just had this cleaned. It's a non-aircon model, which doesn't really bother me because that's quite heavy. I have been doing a few bits of maintenance on this myself, which those who watch me Snapchat will actually see me doing work on them. I tried doing the interior bits here and there. Obviously your standard controls, your heat and cold. Now this I find quite cool. That's for your electric sunroof, which I didn't realise these actually had until I brought this car. I know they've done a manual sunroof, but never electric. So if I press it, as you can see, and obviously reverse again to close. Press it again. Obviously that's the heated mirrors and the heated rear window, which is actually quite handy. Now this little button, I find this very, very cool, because that is the button for your radio aerial. So you can have the radio on with no aerial, but when you flick the switch, that's the camera can see it. That's now on. I don't know why the switch is like that upside down, but when I flick it again, little things I just find cool. Now that is not for heated seats, but I just sort of stuck it in there and I can't get the switch out without breaking it. So I'm going to do that at some other point. Speaking of heated seats, this does actually have heated seats, and they work, which I find really weird because I've never had a car with heated seats in before. As I'm over here, I do have, as you can see, a manual gear stick with a little button on it. So it's the M46 manual transmission, which are strong transmissions, which are for standard 4-speed H pattern, but it's got an electronic overdrive, which I myself am not too keen on. But that's just me. Oh yes, it's got a fancy flashy light for if you haven't got your belt on, and a light for if your washer fluid's low. Oh, turn it off before it clicks the battery to dead. Now you have a nice little centre cubby hole here, which people put stuff in and drinks. Anyone that has any of these old Volvos will tell you the exact same thing, that cup holders are an issue with these. So people put their drinks in there. And also, I don't know if that can pick it up, it's actually got a little light bulb in there to make it easier to see when you put your belt in the dark. In the back of the executive model we have probably the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in, with a nice fold down armrest and stuff to put what executive people actually have. Roof lining could do a little bit of a clean, but I'll get round to it. Actually, as we're at the roof lining, what I've done, one of my Snapchats, I've upgraded the light bulbs for LEDs, but the back one is the original light, as you can see the difference. Now why I've done it to LEDs is for the battery drain and heat, so I don't want to melt them plastics. And also with these, you have courtesy lights in the doors. These have actually been upgraded to LED bulbs, because I found out with the original bulbs these were getting quite warm, and that is actually nice and cool. It's not a shut, it's a thud. Now at the boot we have a little bit of a dirty boot, I would admit, but it is quite a decent size. Complete with obviously spare wheel, and if I can open this, I need two hands. You have the complete toolkit. In there's all the spanners and actually a pair of gloves to change wheels, etc. It's quite weird to clip this on actually. Nice and clean. Unfortunately I haven't got a better picture of the underneath, because I want to actually get a good view of the underneath of it. Now the reason why I haven't done the review on this, it's took till now, is because unfortunately my editing skills are not up to scratch, and I really want to do a review on it that's really quite in depth. Unfortunately I'm not skillful enough, so I'll have to sort of like improvise, adapt and overcome. But this is my Volvo 740. One of the best cars I've ever owned. I'll tell you what, it won't be the last one I own. So if you've got any comments on what I should do with this bad boy, no, it's not going to be a drift missile. It's too nice for that. I want to get a few little bits done here and there, get it looking even more pretty, and then basically just enjoy it, because everywhere I go in this thing I get constant thumbs up. I get people saying to me, actually it's one of the best cars I've ever had.